There was awareness. After awareness, there was open conversation between she and I. I let her see and I let her feel that I was open. I didn't get offended. I didn't attack her in any way. We talked through it. And after that, she would ask me many questions. Well, let me ask you this. I've always wanted to ask someone that. What it did, it gave her tolerance and understanding of our differences. And at the end, we're just so the same. So whether a person is Black, whether a person is Chinese, whether a person is white, it all goes back to me to exposure. When I do homes, I've always said that every home should be ethnic, and ethnic is not just Black. Italians, I've had Italian clients. I make sure that they bring part of their culture into their home. Your home should tell your story. Your home should represent you, where you've been and where you're going. It should be your sanctuary. It should be your safe place. When I walk into your home, I should be able to tell who you are. So when people used to say to me, here's a book, this is what I want, I would say, I will do this design when you bring me some people in that book that are moving. This is staged. Life is a living space. It's not a staged space. So when I come together for design, I may have a Black person who's more exposed than a white, or a white who's more exposed than a Black. I've had all types of people. And at the end of it all, it's about your comfort, and your comfort has no color.
I really like you, Stephanie. There's something very powerful about the way you speak.
I'm just very passionate about who I am. And I've always felt that life is bigger than me. And as we learn, we must share with others, and I just feel that we miss out on so much. And I don't want everybody to be the same. I have grandchildren, and like I said, we come from a very diverse family. Trust me, even my family is across the rainbow. Everybody, trust me. And I've always told them this. I said, here's a bowl of cherries, here's a bowl of oranges, here's some bananas, and here's some grapes. It's wonderful, right? They all taste good. Now I put them in a big bowl. I said the fruit cocktail is better because it's the differences. It is the differences in us that make the whole. So I love people to be who they are. And I feel as women, we cannot be afraid of who we are. Women, so many times, they have to dummy down. Oh, well, I don't want them to think I'm forceful. Oh, I don't want them to think I'm this. We have to learn to stand up and rise. And we must also learn to share amongst each other. And we must learn that every single day we have to evolve. If you are doing the same thing today that you did 5 years ago, you are a couple of years from being obsolete. So as women, we must rise. We must not be afraid. And we must move forward to make a difference because we are the future.
Stephanie, you went from being a Howard graduate, and then you went and you became an international flight attendant. You were also a singer, and then you became a general commercial contractor. That's a lot of education. What made you think that educating yourself in all these different, you even said that you read music, and my son's a jazz player, is getting ready to go to Eastman. And I know that one of the things that they require is for everyone to read music, but I played in a lot of bands for years. And I remember playing with Badfinger, and they just played in one key because that's all they knew. Right. Yet you were a jazz singer, it sounds like, that read music, and that is unusual. So you've obviously believed in education from a young age. But why is someone like you believing in education and other women, when they see a lot of educational opportunities, hold back? What would you say is the difference?
Shortcuts. People that do not want to learn their craft is because of shortcuts, or they think they're too old, or they think their time has come. I'll give you an example. I went to Howard University, stayed a year and left. Do you know I went back? And now in 2010, I went back. I went to University of Maryland, never finished, one semester away. I went back in 2010 and took a whole different major. And I went back and forth and commuted from University of Maryland to Johns Creek for 2 years to get a business degree in process analysis. Now, it was women. Oh my God, you are almost 60. You are going back to school. There's age discrimination. They're not going to hire you. I said, maybe I'm going to hire people. I loved it. The learning was wonderful. I love millennials. I learned a lot from millennials. A lot of times people turn up their nose from what's different. I love millennials, okay? But I feel education is very important. When I was a designer, I went and took classes. Now, I took classes so that I could learn the principles and the rules, so that when I broke them and someone thought that I didn't know them, I can talk intelligently and take a stand on, no, I know the rule, but this is how I see it. I feel that as women, you must polish and perfect your craft so you can be taken serious. And a lot of women shy away. I have a very good friend. She's graduating in 5 weeks. At 58, this young lady said, I can't go back to college. I never finished. I said, yes, you can. I was behind her. She couldn't believe it. Now she says, Stephanie, thank you. Everyone else told me I was too old. Now, what I told her, I don't really believe in age discrimination. I also took a class and then got certified, because I loved the class so much, in change management facilitation for careers. And what was shown in that class was what I talked about earlier. A lot of us do not go back, and we do not increase our skills. The average American by 58 to 60, they don't want to learn anything new because they feel they're on their way out. Mm-hmm. So what happens, they're the richness, they have the knowledge, but they lost that ambition. That little girl out of college is starting out, and this young lady out of college, she'll do anything to move up the ladder. She hasn't been burnt out yet, okay? Then you have the people in the middle. But when you look at Asia, and we want to know why they're so far ahead, they know that the youth, the new, and the technology, when you put that with the enrichment of the person with the experience, because technology is all numbers and data. Experience is hard, cold facts that have worked or not worked. So when you can put them together, that's the diversity, that's age diversity that makes you win. But here, a lot of people, I actually had to go speak at a county here. Someone asked me because the county merged and then they broke off and they were having a hard time. The young kids were saying, well, what y'all are doing at 8 hours, I could do in 2. This is a waste of my time. But the older people who have been working in that county office for years, the average age was 55 to 60. What did they say? We've been doing it this way all this time. Why are we going to change? I feel that when you keep up and you have value, your age can be an asset. But most people, all they're thinking about is, I got 5 more years. And as women get sold a bill of goods. Oh, you're too old. Oh, and usually if women, raise their children, I was listening to an article, well, not an article, I was listening to a show the other night, and it was so true. A lady was saying, the days of thinking you can do it all, it's not true. Women had a lot on them, and they picked up a flag that eventually they couldn't wave. You can't do it all. So you have to select the things you want to do. And it is no shame to say, I need help, to have sisterhoods. So when it comes to learning, I feel a lot of women, they are sold, oh, you can't do it. They have fear, or they feel they're too old. They'll say, at this stage in my life, I am 69, I will be 70, and I am still having new ventures.
Oh, no, you're not 69 years old.
Oh, yes, I'll be 70 in December.
No, you're not.
But you know what? There is no difference. This is what I tell a lot of women. There's no difference between me and you. I just still have dreams. Most
Stephanie,
women.
I am very curious as to what you fill your ears with. What kind of podcasts are you listening to? What books are you reading? How do you keep your mind in an open growth mindset? I'm very curious about your podcast. What do you listen to?
Well, I started listening when I was young to people who probably aren't even around anymore, like Leo Biscaglia, back in the day, Napoleon Hill, before people even thought of Napoleon Hill, Charles Gibbons. Now I am such a John Maxwell person. I actually took his entire training, which was wonderful. I took his training for about a year because I love what he talks about. I believe in it. And it was interesting. So many things that I live, that I was just living, I listened to him. It's all said a different way, but what you listen to is what you become. I don't, not to anyone else's, I don't watch television. Every blue moon, I went to a conference when I was in my 20s, and someone was saying, how can you run home every week and watch a show of people who are making more money and more successful than you? If you take 3 hours a day to watch television, that's 21 hours in a week, okay? That is 2 weeks worth of wasted time. I choose to learn new things. I choose to keep growing. I choose to talk to women and men who are empowering. It is like we feed off of each other. So when people sometimes say, well, I'm waiting for a break. If someone give me a break, this is what I tell them. No, I don't believe in breaks. Breaks are certain things that you want for your advantage from someone else. But an opportunity is something you don't have to ask for because someone sees the value in you and what you can offer them. So what you should be looking for is enriching yourself so someone will see and give you an opportunity. You should never sit there and wait for someone to give you a break.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Well, I just want to clap for you.
Awesome. We're going to get some questions now from Paran. It was really nice.
I'm just in disbelief.
Brandy. And then I want you to share with women, how do you overcome grief? But let me see what Mr. Wetzel and Dr. O'Neill would like to ask you. And then we're going to come back to that. Dr. O'Neill, Mr. Wetzel, questions?
Okay, I'll go first. I was going to yield the mic to Mr. Wetzel, but I will go first. Good evening, Miss Stephanie Harvey. The pleasure is all mine. And I guess the question that I have is, as you get more seasoned, I like to say more seasoned, more mature, and more youthful at the same time. What do you do to keep your drive and your spirit up?
Well, self-motivate myself. The first thing I do, to be honest, because I was in music, I have certain songs that I put on every morning. You know, there are songs like I Got a New Attitude. I have songs like Striving. You know, I'm Every Woman. When you see me in my house in the morning, I don't need coffee. I'm bouncing around in the mirror and dancing and uplifting myself. And I do believe that you have to find your niche of what excites you. But you'd be surprised how music really can empower your soul.
Now that I agree with. I'm a music person every day, almost all day long, just somewhere in between my thoughts, there's a song, there's something playing. So thank you for that. I'm glad that there are other people who feel that music actually adds music to your life.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Wetzel, I think he kind of disappeared, Dr. Lewis. So we're gonna have to move on to someone
Okay,
else.
then I have a question. How, you know, sometime, well, we as people, you know, we go through grief sometime. And how do you pick yourself up and keep moving forward after that has happened? Because
Okay.
women are so emotional and loving and all of this, you know, it's hard.
Well, what I would say to that is, if